All right, let's talk about something that trips up pretty much everyone at some point in their careers, writing a great report. One that people actually read and that makes a real impact. But don't worry, by the time we're done here, you're going to have the exact blueprint to nail it every single time.
Oh, we've all been there, right? You're just staring at that dreaded blinking cursor on a blank page. The deadline's getting closer and closer and the pressure is on. You feel like you need some kind of magical inspiration to even begin. But what if I told you the secret has absolutely nothing to do with being a brilliant writer?
That's right, the secret weapon that turns a jumbled mess of ideas into a clear, persuasive, professional document, it isn't some stroke of creative genius. It's all about structure. It's a solid blueprint you can use again and again.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Reports, aren't those kind of old school? But here's the thing. In our world of nonstop information and short attention spans, a well-crafted report is actually your secret weapon for cutting through all that noise and showing you know your stuff.
See, a great report isn't just about dumping information on a page. The process itself forces you to think clearly, to really dig in and analyze complex data, and to build a logical argument that's backed by actual evidence. It's literally how you demonstrate your competence and communicate real value no matter what field you're in.
So, what does this powerful structure actually look like? Well, let's break down the anatomy of a great report. And it's really simple. Just think of it in 3 core zones.
First up, you've got the preliminaries. This is all about the first impression, right? Your title page, your abstract. Then you have the text. This is the real meat of your report, the main argument. And finally, the appendices, which is all the backup data and evidence that proves your points. Seriously, nail these 3 parts and you are pretty much home free.
Okay, let's zoom in on the abstract for a second. Pro tip, you usually write this part last, but it is absolutely the first thing a busy manager is going to look at. Think of it as the entire report squished into a tiny paragraph. It needs to answer 4 questions, fast. Why'd you do it? How'd you do it? What'd you find out? And the big one, so what? Why should anyone care?
Now for the introduction. Okay, so if the abstract is the movie trailer, think of the introduction as the opening scene. It sets the stage, tells the reader what the problem is, and gives them a crystal clear roadmap of where the report is going. You're not trying to create suspense here, you're going for total clarity.
And that, of course, brings us to the conclusion. And listen, this is so important. The conclusion is not the place for brand new information. No plot twists. It needs to flow directly and logically from all the evidence you've already shown. It just neatly summarizes your key findings and directly answers the question you started with in the introduction.
Okay, we have our core structure down. Now let's talk about something that might seem kind of boring, but is actually a total game changer: formatting. And look, this isn't about being picky or following a bunch of dusty old rules. It's about strategically guiding your reader's eye and making your report easy to read.
It really just boils down to 3 golden rules. First, be consistent. Your reader's brain loves patterns, so don't make it work any harder than it has to. Second, use a template. Seriously, save your brain power for the actual content, not for fiddling with margins. And third, make your headings your guideposts. A clear, numbered system lets anyone scan your report and get the gist in just a few seconds.
Okay, let me show you exactly what I mean by clarity. Take a look at this table of data. I mean, all the numbers are there, they're accurate, but what's the story here? It's kind of tough to figure out at a glance, right? You have to really work to spot the trends.
But now, look at this. It's the exact same data, just in a simple bar chart. Bam! Instantly, the story just pops right off the page. You immediately see that huge dip in 1962 and the big comeback for Group C in 1965. A good visual tells the story in 2 seconds flat. That's something a wall of numbers just can't do.
Okay, so we've got structure, we've got clarity. The next piece of the puzzle is credibility. And that means we have to talk about citations. This is really all about professional integrity. It's about showing your work and giving credit to the people whose ideas you're building on.
And you really want to get this right because the stakes are pretty high. As this quote from our source puts it, if you don't show where your ideas come from, it can look like you're stealing them, which has a name: plagiarism. So proper referencing isn't just about rules. It protects you, and it actually makes your argument stronger.
The good news is this is way simpler than it sounds. You basically have 2 main systems. There's the author date system, where you see the name and year right in the sentence. And there's the numerical system, which just uses a little number. Usually, your company or your field will have a preference. The most important thing, just pick one system and stick with it. Remember that golden rule: consistency is everything.
All right, we've covered structure, clarity, and credibility. Our final piece is the writing itself. And this isn't about sounding smart or using big fancy words. It's all about making smart, purposeful choices with your words to sound clear and objective.
A really key choice you'll make is between the active and passive voice. Now, a lot of people think one is good and the other is bad, but that's not really the case. The passive voice is fantastic when you want to focus on the action itself. But the active voice is better when it's important to know who did the action. It's a strategic choice. You decide what you need to emphasize.
All right, to pull this all together, here's your final checklist for that really polished professional tone. Keep your sentences short and to the point. Ditch the jargon unless you know for sure your audience understands it. Make your lists easy to scan, and always use gender-neutral language. It's just the modern professional standard.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, I want you to forget all the rules for just a second. Before you type a single word of your next report, ask yourself this: what is the one thing, the one key message that my reader absolutely has to understand when they're done? Start with that answer, and I promise the rest of the blueprint will fall right into place.